Good evening, race fans. Urban Pirate here with Black Flag Racing TV, and it's Sunday night, which means only one thing: we are back for the Lithuanian Racing Club Championship, GR3, and this is round 3. We've had 2 fantastic races so far: round 1 in Barcelona, round 2 last week at Spa, and this week we are at the fantastic Dragon Trail Seaside. For what is proving to be a very, very hotly contested tournament. So, the table so far, what is it, I hear you ask? Well, there you go. That is where we're currently at in terms of the table. Wendigo has so far dominated this tournament and won 2 races out of 2. And yes, 2 races out of 2 for Wendigo in the Porsche 911. 25 points, for each win, and those 2 wins put him firmly at the very top of the table going into round 3. King Bob in the Mercedes AMG, close behind on 30 points, level with Fitzrockers in the Corvette. The 2 of them switch bases week to week. Saying that, King Bob has played one of his week off cards from last week. So as you know, they've got 2 skip stage coupons, which are there in blue, as you can see. They have also they get additional points for fastest lap and things like that as well. But they also have a car swap token, and a couple of people have played car swaps in the last couple of races. We'll go through that in a minute. But rest of the table, the reigning champion Danish D in 4th place on 25 points, level with Timosius in the Alfa Romeo, also on 25 points. Rollins in the McLaren 650S in 6th place with Guy in the Porsche 911, second of the 2 Porsche runners in 7th place on 22 points. Arminis in the GR Racing Concept on 21 points. Then we've got Miltman, Simonas, Paz, Kozas, Mr. J, Costa, and Romas. None of them have actually run a race yet, but have used tokens for races 1 and 2. I know I've seen Simonas this evening. I know he's knocking about. We'll see who else is also knocking about here in a moment. Shady in the Mercedes in 15th. Dariukas in Porsche in 16th. Then we've got Alpha, who has picked up a penalty, which is in recent points. Etadas in the Porsche, Aldrox, Vadukas, who's changed his car actually, and Capras in the Beetle, who didn't use his token in round 1 but didn't race, did race in round number 2. So I did say a couple of people picked up penalties. There is the penalty details there. 10 points is a ban in qualification, which will start from last place in the following race. 15 points will be a race ban. So far, Alpha picked up 4 in race number 1. Etanas picked up 4 penalty points in race number 2. But here we go, we're moving on to race number 3. So let's, shall we jump across and have a look and see what's going on? We'll keep the table up for everyone to see. But there you go, there is the current standings for you to see while we jump in and see what's occurring. So, where are we? 1931. So qualifying has started. So the best thing to do is jump straight in and have a look and see what is going on with everybody. Anyone out on track yet? That's the question. At the moment, no. Everyone's sitting quietly in the pits. But we'll have a little run through who is running tonight. So, Fitzrockers in 1st place. Tamosius, well, in no place at the moment really because they haven't started qualifying yet. So Fitzrockers in the Lamont car. Tamosius there in the Alpha. There's Aldriox in that McLaren. MT96. Who's MT96? I don't know. That's King Bob, isn't it? I can't remember. Let's have a look. Online IDs. Yeah, it's King Bob. Shall we do? Let's do his nicknames. Let's do his nicknames. So MT96 King Bob in the AMG. Mr. J Hippity Hop He's in that Porsche 911, inspired by the Ferrari livery there. Looking pretty good. Shady, also in that AMG. Looking lovely in that Lithuanian livery on the car there. Paz Kozas, he's in the McLaren. Dariukas in the Porsche 911. There is Guy, also in the Porsche 911 with the Ferrari badge. Evening, Pepsi. How you doing, buddy? Good racing from you the other night on GT Fusion, mate. Danish D, there he is in the Lexus, current reigning Lithuanian champion. And for those of you joining us for the first time, that includes you, Pepsi, I think. This is the very best drivers that Sadas, there he is. He's picked up some penalty points in the last race, all to play for this time. Also in that Porsche 911. Konstantin, this is his first race in the WRX. Be interesting to see what he's got for us this evening. Rollis in the McLaren. Wendigo, current championship leader, wins in race number 1 and number 2, and sporting my name on the back is always going to be my favourite. And Arminis, there he is in the Toyota Supra. Great car, that Supra. Certainly the best car for daily race C for anyone that's been cracking it out this week. And well, without further ado, we have started qualifying. 27 laps around here today. Qualifying will be 20 odd minutes. So yeah, 20-minute qualifying start from now. So started a little bit later than we expected, but no biggie with that. But it'll be 27 laps around Dragon Trail Seaside today. Looking forward to seeing just how good these guys are. Now, it appears to be that I've not got game audio. So if anyone's watching and you can tell me, have I got game audio, because I haven't got it coming through the monitor while I check. So it should be, but I've got no audio. So if the audio is missing from the stream, please let me know, because at the moment I can't hear it through the monitor and it's not showing up for me. But there we go. Anyway, let's have a little lap around. Who's the first one out of the blocks? No, he's still in the pits. So, Fizz Rockus. So here we go. Here is a lap around Dragon Trail. So you come out of the last turn, hard on that power, on the left-hand side of the racetrack. You are looking for this 50-metre ball, start to turn in, and you keep it right and slam on those brakes. Get those brakes, get it changed down into second gear. The first turn is much more important to go slower, so you get a really good exit out. Not a great exit out there for Fizz Rockus, but he does keep it on the road. Then you've got the little turn there, then you little lift here, unless you're brave and you can keep your foot in. Then you're braking for this right-hander, and again on the power as quickly as possible. This is your first split time. You're looking at what you want to be looking around 31 seconds. That's quite slow there. Little double brake, change down to fourth gear, and you want to keep it wide because you're going flat out here to the right and to the left, and you want to ride these curbs using as much of the racetrack as possible to maintain the best kind of speed. You're drifting to the left hand side here, and a big braking zone. Hard on those brakes, changing down through the gears, down to second gear, get turned in, and then you're back on that power again as you head towards the trickiest part of this racetrack. You use all the curb here and all the curb on your left here, and you've got a little lift, and you've got to watch that chicane of death. That could be devastating, and with heavy damage on, any clip of that little chicane of death there could spell the end of your race. It is absolutely crucial to get that part of the racetrack right. And then final corner is a long sweeping right-hander. We want to get on the power as early as possible and complete your lap. And that's a 1:37.6 from Fizz Rockus. But for me, I think we're going to be looking at much lower times than that. And there we go. King Bob, MT96, already with a 1:36.6. So times are a tumbling. Arminis with a 1:39.1. So Guy is half a second slower at the moment with a 1:36, 1:37.1, should I say. And there he's going off that racetrack, off the racetrack in that 911, kicking up as much grass as he possibly can. Wendigo, current championship leader, literally 8 thousandths of a second. 8 thousandths of a second behind with a 37.2 dead. So certainly got some more time in there. And he's gone purple in Sector 1. Fizrukas still down in 4th. Shady, 1:37.9. Best time he can churn out at this stage. And Rollies in that McLaren with a 1:38.9. Almost a second slower than Shady in 5th. Arminis GT, couple of tenths behind with a 39.1. Mr. J is the first of the runners over 1:40. So certainly some time to be found there, but I've got to say, absolutely love the livery on that 911. Beautiful looking car. Danish D, reigning champion in the Lexus with a 1:40.1. Is he able to improve on that as he comes across the line? He does. He goes sub 140 with a 39.1, which puts him up into the only 8th place, because everybody else is chucking in quick laps. So these times are tumbling at the moment. Who's the slowest man on track at the moment? Constantine just coming out in the WRX. We'll see what time he sets shortly. Orjox with hasn't set a good time yet. Expect to see him moving up the order pretty soon. Paz Kozas not set a really good representative time yet. We know this guy's faster than this. And there we go, 1:39.3. So sub 140 I think is going to be across the board. Is there a sub 136 in this qualifying today? Has MT96 got a sub 136 in him? What about Wendigo, the current championship leader? Can he go sub 136 in qualifying? Danish D, there he is in 8th place. So let's have a full rundown. At the moment, front row is MT96 from Wendigo. Half a second difference in qualifying time. Guy and Fizrukas are on row 2. Again, half a second difference. Shady and Arminis they're in and on row 3. Rollins Danish D, row 4. Paz Kozas and Etadas in row 5. And then we look down to row 6, Mr. J and Simonas. Now, usually Simonas is a lot quicker than this. Best time he's got on the board so far is a 47.1. But this is looking like a much quicker lap from him in that. Is that the NSX? I think it's the NSX, isn't it? Yes, it is. It's in that Honda NSX. One thing about this NSX, it's a great car. But the throttle's either on or off. There's no feathering that bad boy. But he doesn't need to feather it. A 36.7 firmly puts him on row 2 alongside MT96. Great lap from him. Further down to Mosius. Still not doled in a lap yet in that Alfa Romeo. And the clock is ticking on an opportunity to do it. He's on his current out lap. What's he got? Let's go on board with him for this lap, see what he's got for us. So as we see, it's all about maximising the exit speed from the corners. So here you've got to sacrifice some speed here to make sure you get a good exit here. You don't want to go too wide. You've got that gravel on that left-hand side. And if you overshoot that, it will spin your car. And again, here you can take this flat out and you get it right. And that's what happens when you get it wrong, though. And we've just seen someone spin that looked like Constantine for me that spun. So Tamiosius, he comes under 32.9. That's not a bad split. Again, little lift here, drops down to 4th gear. Keep it nice and tight. You can touch the grass there without a problem. You are flat out here, and is he closing on that car ahead? He does not want to be too close to that car ahead. It's really going to compromise his qualifying time if that distance closes up. Hard on those brakes. Really needs Paz Kozas with his penalty to get out of the way. Paz Kozas is getting closer and closer, and it really is going to affect Timosius with his qualifying time. You clip this curb. You clip that curb. You're on the right-hand side. That was brave. That was really brave. Just a lift. Little clip on the way through. Got away with that, though. And then we go to Timosius moving out Pascosa's way as he serves that penalty. Really, Pascosa should be moving off the racing line there, particularly in qualifying, and getting out of people's way, because all you're doing is you're hampering other people's race. So that's not going to be super quick time. And I think clipping the wall in the chicane of death and trying to avoid Pascosa serving his penalty has cost Timosius a good lap time there. He started off so well as well. So no change out front. MT96 still on pole position. He now has Simonis for company with a 36.6. There is 1/100th of a second exactly difference between those two cars. 10th further back, Fizz Rockas with a 36.7. He's now gone sub 37. Wendigo also not quite sub 37 yet. 37.0 for Wendigo in the 911. He is joining Fizz Rockas on row 2. On row 3, there is Shady in the AMG with Guy for company also in a 911. So 911's not having the best of performances out there so far. Then on row 4, we've got Timosius with Arminis. Arminis is rocking of 137.9. So they are the last of the 38 breakers. Ron is in the McLaren, a beautiful McLaren, is on row 5 with Aldrox for company. Aldrox in that McLaren, trying to get one more hot lap in before the race starts, and there isn't long left before the end of qualifying. On row 6, Mr. J has got reigning champion Danish D for company. Not much between them, either 35-10. We'll say that. As we say, Mr. J has just moved down the order. So Aldrox and Rollers up the order. Mr. J moves down the order. Pascosas moves down the order. And Danish D actually up into 9th place now. So he's now 8th place. Moving up that order very quickly. Who was that off the track? That's Mr. J off the racetrack in that 911. There's nothing left on those tyres. You need to go in those pits and get them changed. 39.0 is the best he can do. Pascosas with a 39.1. We saw him serving a huge 3-second pit lane penalty. Atanas in 14th, carrying a penalty from last week as well. Got a lot to do to make up for that penalty. Constantine bringing up the rear in the WRX. Nearly turned right into the side of Aldrox then. Very close. There we go. So, here we go. All over his qualifying. MT96 Simonis on the front row. How quickly are these guys going to get away? Will they get away clean? We have got 27 laps of racing ready to go. The lights are on. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and what happened? Nothing happened. It looks like there has been some sort of restart happening, because only Rollers is left on the racetrack. Don't know what happened there. Only Rollers. Rollers sitting there on the racetrack on his own. Hasn't started. False start then by the looks of things. So what's next, I ask? Well, it says race in progress, but there is no race in progress, because the only man on the racetrack at the moment is Rollers. Nobody else appears to be racing. There we go. Host has ended the game. I was waiting for that to happen. So we might as well bring up the table for everyone to see while we're waiting for fixings. Just wait for the new room to come up. Oh, that was an interesting start. I wonder whether that was a technical issue or whether it was necessary to do that. Yeah, that was a big crash, wasn't it? I'm assuming loads of people got chucked out because they all seemed to disappear at the same time. Obviously Wallace was host, so there may have been an issue with him. Let's hope it's not a terminal issue, and everyone is back for the restart. course he is. Of course he's on it, man. Why wouldn't he be? So, might as well talk about what's coming up, I suppose. They're going to have to, aren't they? Yeah, they're going to have to restart the quality because otherwise it's going to be a mixed up grid, isn't it? So what's coming up on Black Flag Racing TV? Well, tomorrow we are back for round 2 of the GR4 lottery. Anyone that hasn't seen the GR4 lottery yet, a couple of weeks ago we spun a wheel with 15 cars on it and we allocated those cars purely on a lottery basis. So there are 15 cars and 15 drivers. Nobody has the same car. Balance of performance is turned off for this, and they have a PP limit of 700 to do what they will with the car. Some have opted to ditch the soft tyres and go for a little bit more power but lose some grip. Others have gone the other way and decided to keep the soft tyres. But it's certainly proving to be a very, very interesting tournament already. So race number 2 will start very soon. I'm going back into the room now. So that'll be tomorrow, race 2 for that. Tuesdays, obviously we've got nothing on Tuesdays, as you well know. Although that may change in the future if demand calls for it. Wednesday, we did have the GRB. Interest seems to have waned a little bit on that since we stuck the dirt tracks in. So the jury's out on whether GRB continues, but we will have something really, really cool coming up to replace that on Wednesdays very shortly. Thursday, we're back to the European GR3. Last couple of races in that tournament. So season 1 of that will be culminating very soon. Friday is the usual same car race as we normally have. Obviously, I did stream last week. Very ill with the COVID last week. Then Saturday, we are back with a very brand new. Now we've finished the Black Flag Bullshit Saw. That finished last week, and congratulations to Stormfly, who won that. Stormfly, we in second, and it was Harmonist, one of the guys from this Lithuanian Championship, was third in that. So congratulations to you, buddy. Good performance from you in BFB. But we've got a new tournament starting for Sundays. And that will be the Saturday, should I say, Super Formula Saturday, in the brilliant Toyota and Honda Super Formula cars. 10 weeks of racing. 7 of those tracks are Formula 1 tracks, proper Grand Prix tracks. So that is going to be an absolute doozy, and that starts next Saturday. So looking forward to that, and then of course we're back here next Sunday for this. We also will have another surprise late night performance of an American Championship coming up very shortly. But watch this space for news on that. Right, so everyone is back in the room, bar one. We're missing one person, but I think quality's going to start now anyway. Quick 10-minute qualifying. It all happens again. Will it be a different lineup this time, or will it be very similar? So we go again. Loving these technical problems. Now there is an update planned for next week. Now, being the pessimist that I am, I don't expect that update to have anything more than some shitty cars we didn't want, a couple of track updates we didn't want, and then, nerfing some of the cars that we love. That's what usually happens. What we need is a big update for this lobby system. We need to be able to set grids. We need to be able to do proper reverse grids. We need to be able to save results. We need to be able to do a whole manner of different things that we could do with GT Sport on these lobbies. And the little hopeful man in the back of my head says, please, Polyphony and Sony, have you sorted your shit out? And that is ready for us. I'm not that optimistic, though. I think they're just going to cater for the 15-year-olds using Daddy's credit card, as they normally do. But we will see. Anyway, everyone is out, bar who? Who's missing? Well, we've got one missing, certainly. See if I can work out who it is just by looking at the names. Probably won't, actually, because my memory is awful. So Fizruckus was the first out of the blocks. He's going to be the first one to set a time. Coming round the final turn to start his hot lap. Let's sit in the passenger seat next to him and just see how hot this hot lap is. And I love this camera view. It's such a good view inside the car. I love the way it sort of changes depending on where the corner is. Almost as though it is a passenger rather than a camera. A little bit hot going into the second of that little mini chicane there. But does recover it very well. Turns it in at full pelt. Beautifully held on the brakes. That's a good apex. And he's away from that apex well as well. You can actually drift onto that grass without too much of a problem. As long as you're not too overly aggressive on the throttle. Get it changed down to 4th gear. Beautifully done there. And then you are full on this power. Really, really smooth drive from Fizruckus. Really, really smooth. This is going to be a pretty quick time, I think. Into the biggest braking zone on the racetrack. As we head towards the scariest part of the racetrack. When you've got damage turned on, this is a scary place to be. Getting that turned in. Beautifully done. And away. What sort of times are you going to put on the wall? Is anyone going to go sub 136 in this qualifying session? That'd be interesting to see. Getting one of them sub 36. There's certainly a couple of drivers out there that have got the ability to do that. So Fizruckus is going to be on provisional pole with a 1:37.0. That is not a shabby time, to be fair. We say that as soon as... And Shady straight away in AMG. And AMG is a really good car for this track, actually. 36.7. Puts him on the front row with Fizruckus. Danish D currently on the second row with Rollins for company. And Audriox just coming home. 1:38.3. That puts him on row 3. Guy straight in to row 2 in the 911. Highest running 911. There he goes. To Guy up into row 2. And there we go. MT96 straight away shows the power of that AMG. Puts himself on pole position. Pushing Fizruckus off the front row. Everyone else set time pretty much. Note Mr. J still with the time to set. Etanis with a 1:40.7. When Digo 4 seconds a penalty. That's not going to get him further out the field. He's going to have to get that penalty burnt off. Get some fuel burnt off and see if he can put in a better time. Timosius 58.5. That's not going to get him anywhere. Simonas not setting a good time either. So at the moment, quite a few times to be set. And it looks like we've lost... I can't remember his name. Begins with a K. Constantine? Yeah, Constantine, we have lost. Well, yeah, I mean, he's still got time to get here if he can. If he's not got a problem, he can certainly get himself back in the room. But time is ticking to set a qualifying time. So 5 minutes gone of qualifying. And front row looks like this. MT96 with Fizruckus, Shady and Guy on row 2. Guy currently stopped facing the wrong way. So he has had a little coming together with the chicane of death. And not able to get his car away yet because everybody's in the way. And we know you can't use the little trick of sticking it in pause and letting the car do it for you. So you've got to do it properly. But Guy currently sitting on row 2. Audriox and Danish D, reigning champion, on row 3. Row 4 is Rollins and Mr. J. Etanas and Wendigo are on row 5. Row 6, Timosius with Wendigo. Simonas and Paskozas on row 7. And at the back of the pack is Paskozas there. Well, not anymore, he isn't, because he's just put in a 39.4, which puts him up onto row 5 alongside Mr. J. So good lap from him. Guy into the pits to do repair after kissing the wall of death. Currently sitting on the second row. Not that comfortable, only a tenth quicker than Audriox. So fastest man at the moment, been very dominant throughout qualifying. MT96, that's King Bob in the AMG. I said throughout that the AMG is a really strong car. It's all going to be about tyre management here. If he can manage the tyres and the fuel well, and we know the king, actually the king of strategy out here is Wendigo, because Wendigo's a man that always looks to me like he's got the strategy wrong, and then absolutely chucks in something amazing and proves me wrong. But can MT96 pull out a good strategy with that AMG? So 4 minutes left. That is 2 laps. 3 if you're just completing one. So Fizz Rockus on row 2. Everything changed at the front. He is 6/10 slower than MT96. I say that as Simonas puts in a sub 36. So MT96 and Simonas both with a sub 36, with a 35.7 and a 35.9 respectively. So already we're seeing those times tumbling. That extra little qualifying session after the lobby crash has just given them a chance to chuck out a little bit, eke a little bit more out of the cars. Excuse me. After effects still of the COVID from last week. As you can hear, my voice is up and down. So anyway, row 1, MT96 and Simonas, both running sub 136. Fizz Rockus and Wendigo on row 2, both running sub 37. Shady currently row 3 alongside Guy. He's done a 36.7. Guy hasn't gone sub 37 yet. 37.3 for Guy in that Porsche 911. Orjox and Dynasty on row 4. 37.5 and 37.6 respectively. Arminis and Paz Kozas on row 5. Paz Kozas with a 39.4. Can he eke a little bit more power out of that? Arminis was third, obviously, in Black Flag, as we know, in Black Dag. Can't even speak. Black Flag bullshit, which completed yesterday. And congratulations for third place in that, buddy. Mr. J Atanas on row 6, 39.5 and a 40.7. Timotheus. Now, we are used to seeing Timotheus with a bit more pace than this. And, he's actually in the last 2 races really surprised me in that Alpha, in the performance that he got out of it. In the performance that he got out of that Alfa Romeo. But today, this track, this car, just not working that well together. Rolles currently, I know, is he back of the pack or is he just sitting in the pits and that's where it's put him? I think Rolles is a bit higher up the order to be. Oh, excuse me. Simonas, what a lap from him. A 1:35.5. Nicks that pole position from MT96. So jumps him in qualifying. Not long left now. Is there a sub 35 in the offering for me? Come on, boys. Who's got the sub 35 for me? Is it Simonas? Is it MT96? Which one of you two can give me a sub 135 here at Dragon Trail on this increasingly getting colder Sunday evening? What's Simonas got? Oh, he's letting Danius D through. So I can only assume that he's bailed out of this lap. Or was Danius D just that much quicker? No, he's pulling into the pits. MT96, what you got? Oh, he's on an outlap. Did he clip the wall there? No damage, so got away with that. So Simonas is happy with his time. He's not going to give me a sub 135. He is going to, a sub 135.5. He's going to sit in the pits. But can this man here do it? King Bob, MT96 in that AMG Mercedes, heading towards the line to start his last hot lap. If he's got time, that's the thing. I don't even know if he's got time to do it, because it looks to me that the race is going to start very, very soon. So we're going to find out if he has got 2/10. That's what he needs. He needs 2.5 of a second to go sub 135. Sub 135.5. which is my thingy. Right, so 1 minute start, finish qualifying. That's what it says. So MT96 has got to finish qualifying. There's a minute left. A minute would have the race starting before he finishes this lap. He bows out and decides to jump in the pits. So Simonas is the man in pole position. Everyone got a red X just to make sure it's all working correctly. I will go in and out as well just to make sure that I don't affect it in any way. It's always safe to make sure that I'm ticking in and out so that it doesn't cock up and crap out on me. Because I know with some tracks there's a bit of an issue. Will do, buddy. Well, looking forward to it, mate. It's going to be a bit easier this week than it was last week when I was full of COVID. It certainly seems a lot easier to cope with this week. So we are imminently about to start this race. As Ronnie says, good luck to everybody. And Constantine, it looks like Constantine has made it into the room right at the very death. He's going to start from the back of the grid because he hasn't set qualifying time. And obviously it's showing me on the screen. But it has to do that because it can cause problems if it doesn't. So everyone is ready to go. Just need Rollis to get things started. This little delay is a bit of a... Right, come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Everyone's ready. The pit crews are ready. The cars are ready. The pilots are ready. The people watching are ready. What we're looking for is a good, clean race. And I'll tell you what, I can guarantee you we're going to see three things today. We're going to see Wendigo pull out a crazy strategy. We're going to see somebody smash the shit out of the chicane of death. And we're going to see lap times tumbling as the race goes on. So, with Simonas on pole, MT96 alongside him. Wendigo, current championship leader on the second row. The 5 lights, they are on. And we are away. Simonas gets a very, very good start. No one, it looks to me that nobody got bogged down there. Up into turn 1. Everyone looking for a little edge here. Is there going to be a way through for anyone? And you know what I'm going to have to do? And we have to do this every time because of shitty lobby shit. There we go. Back in the room. It's exactly what we wanted to do. And Simonas is in the lead from MT96. Fizrokas, Wendigo, Shady. Everyone pretty much maintaining order from their qualifying position. Oh, big wobble there from MT96. Keeps AMG on the road. But it does allow Fizrokas to get a bit of a charge on him. And will he have an opportunity in the slipstream here in this very, very fast middle sector of this race? Fizrokas not finding a way through at this time. But Simonas starting to pull out a little bit of a gap. As for the first time, we go into this big, big right-hander at the bottom of the hill. Everyone through clean. Now, this is the key. We're coming up to the chicane of death. Is everyone going to get through the chicane of death cleanly? Simonas, here we see, heading towards it now. How does he get through? He's through. Everybody looks to be getting through okay. Everyone through cleanly. Nobody hits that wall on the way through. That's what we like to see. Shady, way at the back now. What happened to him? Whatever happened to him, it's caused him significant engine damage. Now, was that coming together with another car? Now, there is some damage to the front of Constantine. Is there damage anywhere else? There's the damage to the front of Audriox as well. As you see him just dropping down to 10th place. And Simonas into the pits very early. Now, is he changing out those hard tyres because he... I don't understand. It's a bit of a... damage. Could it be because of the damage that he's done that? So Simonas in the pits. Shady coming into the pits. So that leaves Fizrokas who has got his way around MT96 to pull away in that Corvette into first place. He's already built up a 1.6 second lead. He is on the racing soft tyres. MT96 running those hards. He's played a bit of a long game here, so he wants to hang that car out a little bit longer. He's 1.8 and he's dropping. Look at the time dropping. Fizrokas on those soft tyres, absolutely pulling away from this pack here. Dynasty up into third. Wendigo still in fourth place in that 911. Dynasty on the soft tyres. Wendigo on the racing hards. There's Guy also running the hard tyres. Medium tyres for Pascozas in sixth place. Interesting choice. Tamosius, he is also on those mediums. He's got Arminus for company. And Dynasty in a wall. Dynasty has absolutely lost it in the chicane of death. And will find himself way down the order now. Getting himself back on the racetrack. Damage to the front and rear of that car. He was running so well in the top three. Loses another place. Only Shady is behind him. Shady having gone into the pits with significant damage at the end of lap one. So I said people would be melting that wall. This is such a dangerous racetrack. Rod is in 8th place. There is Arminus putting some pressure on the back of Tamosius. Tamosius is on those medium tyres. Arminus on those softs. So for this to pay off Arminus, he needs to get round the Alpha 4C as quickly as he can and try and put some distance between himself and Tamosius. Paz calls us also running the medium tyres on that McLaren. Currently in 5th place. That's the kind of position that Arminus wants to be in if he's running on those softs and going for a short first stint. Now, pit window. What are we looking at? We're on lap 3. There is probably another 3, maybe 4 laps left in these tyres. So I think we're going to see the pit window opening somewhere around lap 6 certainly for the soft tyre runners. Lap 8 or 9 for those medium runners, and 10, 11, 12 for the hard runners. But that obviously depends on fuel as well, because looking at the fuel situation, I think lap 12 is going to be about the point when even the greatest of fuel savers are going to start thinking about refilling. But Fizrokas has built up a 3.5 second lead of this race on those soft tyres, really putting some heat through them. Is that going to affect him later on, having to pit quite so early? MT96, he has opted for those racing hard tyres. He's pulled our gap of 1.3 seconds already on Wendigo, which is going to serve him well as he's running on those hards. Wendigo also on the hard tyres, so that is a decent position to be in at the moment. As long as they can keep within touching distance of his Rockas, their strategy may well pay off here. Guy also on the hard tyres. So we've got 3 hard tyre runners in the top 4 at the moment, all chasing down Fizrokas, and all with a very similar pace. Paz Kozas in the McLaren, the highest of the medium runners. He'll be going a little bit longer now. Distance to the leader, 7.9 seconds. So at the moment, any pit stop for Fizrokas, and I said lap 6, he's taking out some real rubber out of those tyres. So actually, I don't know if he's even going to last that long. It may well be that Fizrokas is going to need to pit those tyres somewhere around lap 5. He'll certainly go out another lap. But from lap 3 to lap 4, he has taken absolute chunks out of those. So, be interesting to see what happens if he has to go in really early. Because at the moment, he's going to come out somewhere around, I would have thought, 13th or 14th. So Dynasty at the very, very back. He's had to pit with damage. We saw him facing the wrong way after melting the chicane of death. Constantine, he's net last. He's got some engine damage as well. He's going to have to pit. Excuse me. Shady, we also see they're at the back of the pack on those racing softs. Lot of work for him to do. 12 seconds he's got to make up on Etanas at the moment. Etanas 5.5 seconds behind Audriox. He's running those hard tyres. Audriox is on the mediums. Little bit of front wing damage. He's tucked in behind Simonas. Simonas, who was the fastest man on the racetrack, but no longer. Went into the pits very, very early on those hard tyres. Just making the move on Mr. J. Is Audriox going to make that move as well? Mr. J just defending well. Audriox cannot find a way through. But Simonas, with his speed, did find a way past Mr. J. Mr. J having to look at how he can stop Audriox getting past him. Audriox just dropping off for the time being. Happy to wait for the opening. They're both running medium tyres. Simonas also on those medium tyres in the NSX. Coming up to the chicane of death now. Does he make it through clean? Of course he does. On to lap 5. And I called it Fizrokas in a lap earlier than expected. At the end of lap 5, that will send pretty much everyone down to, I think, probably Danius D. Probably Shady, I think, will get through. Obviously, depending on how much fuel he wants to put on board. But here we go. Fizrokas dropping down the order. Here he's coming out now. Actually, he opted for no fuel at all. So he just went straight onto the soft tyres, no fuel, straight back out in 7th place. So going for another short, quick stint. But he's going to be going in. And a great overtake straight away. Makes that overtake on Rolles. So no messing around. Rolles on those hard tyres can do nothing to defend the pace of Fizrokas on cold softs. But here is the kicker. Fizrokas is going to need to pit again. The way he's burning those tyres by lap 10. That's going to be a first stop territory for a lot of these runners. Certainly the hard tyre runners will be staying out a little bit longer than that. Now, these medium tyre runners won't be going in till lap 10. So, is 2 stops to every one really going to be the best strategy for Fizrokas? He's currently in 6th place. Will he retain the lead? I don't know. I think he's going to have to do it on the racetrack. Because other than... In fact, nobody in front of him, for me, needs to pit again before he does. Maybe Timosius at a push. And he's 5 seconds up the road in that Alpha 4C. Trying to find some pace on Paz Kozas and find a way round Paz Kozas. But at the moment, he's within that slipstream range and just looking to close up on the back there. How was the early leader do? Well, Simonas down in 8th place. Damage to the rear of the car. He's been in the pits already. We see Constantine coming out after repairing that damage. He is last and being lapped. Simonas through into 8th. To lap him. So everyone up to 8th place has already lapped him. So all that damage. Big. You've seen a whip of the back of that car. Almost expected to see the back of it flying into a wall. Very difficult car to control with the throttle. Purely because it's just on or off. Anyone that uses this car has said the same thing, that it's kind of strange in that respect. In that you can't feather it as well as you can with some of the other cars. It's very much that you are either on the loud pedal or off the loud pedal. Now, we're looking at the front tyres. Front tyres looking good. Rear tyres, however, not quite so great. And I've got my barriers in the way, and you can't really see it that well. I will probably need to amend that a little bit so you can see it. But there we go. So, rear damage to the rear, and he's got to overtaking not permitted. Who has crashed? Looks to me like Wendigo may have had a problem. He's dropping down the order because Fizrokas is through. So did Wendigo clip that chicane of death. So many people coming a cropper there. But Wendigo jumping into the pits. Little bit too early. That is very, very early when you're on those hard tyres. Not sure it did enough damage to justify it for me. Unless it really has bent his steering wheel out of shape. So Wendigo comes in on the hard tyres earlier than he wanted to. Simonas into the pits. on those mediums. Again, a little bit early. Very strange strategies from these guys, pitting a lot sooner than really should be necessary. So MT96 in the lead of this race on those hard tyres. He's done 8 laps on those tyres. There's another 8 laps left in those without problem at all. So lap 15 is the pit window for MT96. He's 3.4 seconds clear of Guy. Also running those hard tyres. A little bit more wear, certainly on the front left-hand tyre. But again, you know, he's going to be going to lap 12, lap 13 before we're going to see him jumping into the pits. Paz Kozas running the medium tyres. He'll be running them now to about, I said lap 10. Lap 10 for me is still going to be the pit window for the medium tyre runners. Fizrokas, there he is. Now, he pits at lap 5. If he goes the same kind of pace he was going early doors, and even though he was going quick, he's still not put the fastest lap of the race in. That is for Shady with a 36.9. Which is pretty damn quick. Considering qualifying times, that's a bloody quick race time. But Fizrokas burning through those tyres very quickly. His pit window is for pit number 2 will be opening in the next 2 laps. Certainly hasn't taken out the same kind of chunks out of the softs as he did in his first stint. But finds himself in 4th place. Looking to try and make a move on Paz Kozas. And see Tamosius in the Alpha into the pits from 8th place. That will promote Wendigo and Simonas. Simonas down in 9th. Pit at the end of lap 1 with a problem and hasn't been able to fight his way back through the order. Danius D is through. Shady, fastest man on the racetrack, is through. Is he making a move in that AMG? He's got the inside line on Dynasty. Dynasty does get into the corner first, though. And inside line for the right-hander. But Shady right up behind him, trying to find any way through. Not going to be able to, he has to back out there. He knows he can't make the move there. Just backing off. Doesn't want the slipstream to unsettle the car. Now's the opportunity. He's on that power quicker. The power of that AMG in a straight line is just phenomenal. Right up on the back of Dynasty as they go into the left-hander. This is where there might be an opportunity. Using the slipstream. Is he going to be able to outbrake him into this right-hander? He's right behind him. He's got the slipstream. Can he pull out the slipstream and make that move? They are side by side. And that move has been done. Has it stuck? It has stuck. Shady up into 10th. Dynasty drops to 11th place. And now we see Timosius having come out of the pits on the back of that battle. Is he looking to get involved? Timosius has come out on the medium tyres on that Alpha. Oh, he's almost through. Little clip of the curb of Timosius just unsettles his car a little bit. Coming out of that chicane of death. And it just slows him a little. Nothing significant though. So who else is in the top runners? No one else for the top runners in the pits as yet. MT96, 5.5 seconds clear of Guy. Who is 1.6 seconds clear of the early leader, Fizrokas. Who will be pitting end of this lap. I said it, it's going to be pitting his second pit stop here. And the guys out in front are still going to carry on going. For me, MT96 can do a couple more laps on those tyres before he needs to start thinking about pitting. But they're already tacking on the back of the rear enders here. So the pace out front and the pace at the back, very, very different. And we've already had a rage quit casualty. Let's assume it's not a rage quit. But he was last and he had hit the wall a lot. So maybe it was a rage quit, maybe it wasn't. But I'm not going to go into it. Everyone knows my feelings of rage quitting. I think it's the action of a child. But there we go. MT96 into the pits. Guy into the pits. Fizrokas in for his second stop. Rollis will go through into the lead of this race on those hard tyres. And he can go on to lap 12, 13, 14, maybe even lap 15. He's got plenty of fuel. So what sort of gap can he build up now by going in so much later? Now, for me, I think this is the strategy. If you've got the kind of pace that they've got, and a very solid 140s, low to mid 140s on those hard tyres, the gap is 10.3 seconds. Now, we know that MT96, we know that Guy, we know Fizrokas will be chucking in, a second and a half a lap quicker. But it also depends on their tyres. Now, they've gone for the hard tyres. Fizrokas now switches to the mediums. So 2 stints on the soft hasn't really given Fizrokas any benefit at all. He's going to be a little bit quicker, of course he is, than the guys in front of him. But the guys in front of him are on the hard tyres for a much longer stint. Now, he's still got to, I believe he's still going to run hard tyres. He's run softs twice. I don't know if that's the wisest choice. I mean, look, often I make judgments on people's strategy that prove to be wrong. But I think this is one scenario where I just think going balls out as he did on the soft tyres and having to pit twice to everybody else's first one. And bear in mind, there are still people on the racetrack that haven't pit yet. I'm not sure it was the best decision he's made. Now, Rollies, that gap is down already to 9.7 seconds. He's on those hard tyres, but he can keep going. And he can keep going some way into this race. Now, we're on lap 12 of 27. And that's a big if Rollies can take this, well, it's not a big if, really. If Rollies can take these hard tyres to lap 15, it gives him a much shorter second stint. Or a shorter second stint. This is possible. It's going to be possible to one-stop this race. It's going to be possible to one-stop this race and be quick. It looks to me that the majority are 3, maybe 4 stopping. Certainly at least 2 stopping. Now, Paz Kozas, he's on the mediums. Wobble there from him. Simonas is through. So Simonas finally back into the top 5 after having to pit from the lead at the end of lap 1. Arminis in that GR Supra 1 second behind at the moment, behind Paz Kozas at the moment on the soft tyres. So looking to be pretty darn racy in this particular stint. Now remember, these soft tyres do not last very long at all. 5, maybe 6 laps at a push. Wendigo, currently sitting 8th. He's a championship leader, but not showing the kind of pace we saw from him in race number 1 and 2. But we do know he likes to play the long game. He will happily sit there in the midfield. Fizrokas with a problem. Fizrokas has looked to me. Where is he? There he is. He's had a big hit in the chicane of death. So, not only has the strategy not worked for him, but now he's got to pit again with significant damage in that 69 car. So, not working out for him at all. So, pitting for the 3rd time. And we're not even halfway through. Fizrokas, his race, all but over now for the top 3, you would imagine. So, Rollies on lap 13 on the hard tyres. The gap is down to 7 seconds. He is still yet to pit. MT96 still hasn't put in the fastest lap of the race. That is still Shady. And Shady did that very, very early doors. But Shady currently sitting way down in 12th place at the moment. Look at the state of those tyres. He has taken those racing soft tyres to the very limit. There is nothing left on them. That was bravery personified, driving on tyres that look like that. But has he played a blinder there, taking those tyres that long? Be interested to see what he comes out on. But we're looking out front. MT96, 5 seconds now, 5.6 seconds is the gap to Rollies. And that is closing fast. Is Rollies going to come into the pits now? He can see that gap closing fast. Guy, currently in 3rd in the Porsche 911 on the hard tyres. MT96 on the hard tyres. They started on the mediums. There is Wallace finally pitting. That's his first pit stop of the race. Want to see what tires he's putting on. Simonas finally, after 12 laps, way off the pace, finds himself back in the top 3. But he's only got 4 or 5 more laps before he needs to pit for, I think it'll be a third time for him also. We've got blue flags out for Atanas, who is back in 13th place. Arminis up into 4th. Is he going to complete the heroics of BFP, where he finished 3rd in the overall championship, and get himself into the top 3 here? 3 seconds off the back of Simonas. He's on those soft tyres. He's only got a couple of laps left. Needs to make those soft tyres count. But they're very strong. This Super is a very, very strong race car, particularly since the last update. And hopefully they don't fuck it up in the next update coming this week. Armin looking to make a nice move on Italas for, it's just for track position, not for actual position. And Paz Kozas gets round him as well. Italas doing a very good job, just pulling over to that right-hand side. And also Wendigo coming through. Wendigo in 6th place, starting to move up that order. Didn't get through past Italas. Can he get through the chicane? I thought the angle was all wrong and he was going to absolutely melt that corner, but makes it through safely. 2.7 seconds back from Pascozas in 5th place. Fizz Rockas, he's had to pit for a 3rd time. He's so quick today, so quick, but he's had to pit for tyres twice because he went for the softs, and then he melted his car into a wall, and Simona's into the pits. So Fizz Rockas should maybe come through into 6th as he's following Mr. J, who's about to lap. Danius D in 8th place. He's 7 seconds back. He's got Rollins for company. Rollins comes out of the pits. He's just finished stint number 1. He is on stint number 2. Again, with those hard tyres. Now, Bravery says these hard tyres can run to the very end of this race. He did 14 laps on the previous ones. Another 14 laps takes him to the end of this race. So, is he going to be the one-stop wonder? And bear in mind that when he went into the pits, he went in from the lead. He's, 47 seconds back from the leader at the moment, but can run to the end of this race. Tomosius in that Alpha 4C. He's opted for some soft tyres, but the pace not looking all that tasty on those softs. 5.9 seconds he's giving up at the moment to Rollins. Aldrock's behind him in the pits. 3 seconds back, but by the time he comes out the pits, that's going to be a whole lot more. Then we're looking at 12th place Shady. Shady, despite having the fastest lap, has not transferred that into any sort of regular form. Now, that could be because he's not kept the car on the racetrack well enough. It could be poor pit strategy. But despite having the fastest lap of the race, he finds himself back in 12th place. Etanas back in 13th. He's 12 seconds off the back of Shady. And now Shady's got that kind of pace. I can't see how Etanas is going to improve there. And 22 seconds back from that is Hobbity Hop Mr. J in the Porsche 911. Just being lapped now by Simonas, who moves up the order in front of our eyes. And we've lost Konstantin has decided to leave us. So there is the race leader, MT96, just coming up behind all jocks to lap him on in that AMG Mercedes. 1 second, just under 1 second clear of Guy in the Porsche 911 with the Ferrari badge. And Guy showing some very good pace actually in that 911. And again through the chicane of death safely. And that's going to be key. It's getting through the chicane of death safely 27 times. And the cars that do that will be the cars you see in this top 3. Paz Kozas up into 3rd in the McLaren, just lapping all jocks back in 12th. and coming into the final turn. Now, he is 10.7 seconds off the two out front at the moment on the medium tyres, and will next pit window for him, lap 18, lap 19. And then obviously he'll run to the end of this race. So we're already only 10 laps to go. 10 laps to go in this brilliant race. Yeah, of course I can. Sorry, buddy. Let me do it right now for you. I can hide that completely. There we go. Now you can see the tyres better, can't you? I need to do a more transparent barriers, but as you can see through it. So there we go. So Wendigo in 4th place. So strategy started to pay off. He's on the hard tyres. He will have to have one more stop before the end of this race, but that will see him to the end. And I imagine if he's smart here, now we know. Look, 6 laps on those on the softs is completely feasible, even when you are melting the car around the track. So if he can hold out on these tyres till the end of lap 21, he can go soft to the end. Don't know if there's enough in these hard tyres, or enough pace certainly to make it worthwhile, but certainly possibility. Fizz Rockus was in the lead, hit the wall, found himself down the order. Losing that now to Simonas. Simonas, who pit at the end of lap 1, has moved himself up now into the top 5, having got round Fizz Rockus. Fizz Rockus running the mediums. Simonas also on the mediums, but there's a lot more rubber on those medium tyres of Simonas. He won't take those tyres to the end, even with a whole manner of tyre saving. He won't get those to the end. But will he be really racy on the softs when he finally comes out on them? Fizz Rockus, a few more laps before he pits on those mediums. Arminis in 7th. Bit of no man's land for Arminis. He's some significant way back from the top 6. As MT96 into the pits again, which frees Guy to take the lead. So Arminis currently sitting in 7th place. Danius D 5 seconds behind him, not really closing that gap, and he's got to pit pretty soon. Rollies. Now, Rollies for me, I think he's running to the end. I really do, and I think if he does this, masterstroke, absolute masterstroke to one-stop this race on those hards. Watch this space. As bad as I think Fizz Rockus, and it proved actually Fizz Rockus' strategy proved to be even worse when he had to throw his strategy out the window and go and get a new engine board in his car after absolutely spreading it all over the wall at the chicane of death. So Guy goes into the lead of this race, 11 seconds clear. Coming up again to that Mr. J, who's having a torrid time at the back in that 911. And here, if there ever was a demonstration as to what can be done with the Porsche 911, Guy is showing the maximum potential, and Mr. J showing slightly less so. But staying in the race, and that's the main thing for me, is that despite being at the back of the pack, he's still churning in those laps and giving it a go, and not doing what often people do when they're last is quit the race, rather than give it a go and see what they can get out of it, because you never know. Someone in front of him hits that chicane of death, he could find himself moving up that order. Paz Kozas, 11 seconds back on those mediums. He's got to pit this lap, surely. Not sure he can take those another lap further. He might get one more lap out of them. And I'm sure he's probably hoping to get... Oh! You say that, he's going to have to pit now. He's hit that wall. Absolutely loses the back end. There was just no more grip in the tyres at the back of that car. And Paz Kozas spins. He's 22 seconds now back. The only saving grace is that Simonas is some 20 seconds further, or was 20 seconds down the road. That gap's now 5 seconds. Simonas must absolutely be rubbing his hands together, because 1 minute he's 20 seconds back in third. All of a sudden, he's on the back of Paz Kozas, and Paz Kozas is going into the pits having damaged his car and damaged his tyres. Simonas may make this overtake, and he does. Pascozas loses the car again. Big spin, and we see him facing the wrong way. Can't get the car back facing the right way, and he is falling down the order like a stone, absolutely dropping. And another spin, and he actually almost takes a minus, an empty 96 with him. Those tyres have given up, and I think just losing the tyres, coming down that really quick section has taken whatever rubble was left at the back of that car completely off, and he has absolutely ruined his race. And again, spins out, and I'll tell you what, this is one for the show reel. Pascozas on lap 19 for the show reel. Here we go. Can he even get it to the pits before getting lapped even? And he does finally get the car into the pits. Can he do it without spinning? He does finally get into the pits. So that has given Guy a 30-second lead at the front of this race. Absolutely dominating now. Simonas has made his way back into the top 3. It has taken 19 laps of grind. 19 laps of putting in solid times. But finally, Simonas makes his way into the top 3. And back with the opportunity of some big points. MT96, 21 seconds back. Some damage to the front of his car. That'll be the coming together with with the big spin from Pascozas in the McLaren that caught him, and I think caught Arminis as well. Arminis has pitted though back into 7th place. So MT96 in 4th. Wendigo makes the overtake up into 3rd. Wendigo running to the end of this race on those hard tyres in that 911. Big wobbles at the back of the AMG coming out of the chicane of death. Is there going to be another big moment, a big crash in this race for all to see? Simonas takes the lead in this race after Guy goes into the pits. Simonas off the racetrack. Everybody losing grip all over the place. So that advantage he'd built up going into the... Now he's still got to stop again as well. So whatever advantage he gained there, he has just lost going off the racetrack. So Guy now in 2nd place on his outlap, closing fast on those medium tyres, closing fast to the back of Simonas. Simonas will, I think he will. He'll have to pit again. Certainly with the damage he will anyway. Wendigo will not. Wendigo on the hard tyres. Is he going to have the pace? I'm not sure the hard tyres are going to have the pace to catch Guy. Guy has been very dominant. But it just goes to show that 911 is such a dominant car. And Guy makes the overtake into the lead of this race. And I think without damage or without getting into any trouble, I think Guy has absolutely played this blinder and will win this race. Very quietly sitting there doing his job, and makes it into the lead of this race. And to be fair, since he took the lead of this race, it's never really looked in doubt. For a short moment, Simonas took the lead, but he couldn't keep the back of that car on the road. And there we go, Simonas into the pits. Now that gap is 17.3 seconds. And here comes Wendigo. He's through the chicane of death. Remember, Wendigo's currently top of the leaderboard. Every little point matters now. If he wants to maintain that lead at the top, he would love to come out ahead of Simonas. Simonas can go soft, and soft will take him to the end of this race from this point. Where is he? He's still in the pits. He's putting... I can't see what tyres he's putting on. Is he putting on the medium tyres? Doesn't actually say. So, Simona's still in the pits. Rollins has got through into 3rd. Now, has that cost Simonas the top 3? Just that extra long pit stop. He's gone for the medium tyres as well. For me, I don't think that's the right choice. I think at this stage, you've got 6 laps to go, 5 laps to go. You should be running those soft tyres and absolutely giving it everything if you want to place in the top 3. Rollins Ronnie's one stop this race. If he finishes in the top 3, masterstroke, driver of the day, without question. Hasn't been messing around with all this racy shit. He's just been plodding along, nice sensible lap times, and he's taking his car to the end of this race. And he can actually turn it up to 11 now. There is plenty of tyre still left. The problem is, I think Simonas will probably catch him. So he might not make top 3, but then anything can happen. Guy could crash. Wendigo could crash. Simonas, there he goes. He makes that move. He actually makes it move very, very easy. Etanas, not holding them up, just moving to the side, letting them through. So, where are we? Guy, 19 seconds clear. For me, clean race here. In fact, he doesn't even have to be super quick. Simonas actually with the fastest lap now. Guy doesn't have to be super quick. He just has to be clean. It's 20 seconds clear. Wendigo, same goes for him. He's 12 seconds clear of Simonas. As fast as Simonas may be, 12 seconds is a big ask up against that 911. Wendigo, again, doesn't need to be quick. He just needs to be clean. And I think we'll find Guy and Wendigo in the top 2. Simonas deserves the top 3. Has worked really hard to get back up there. Made the move on Roller's last lap. Already put out 3 seconds on him. He is now 12 seconds back on those medium tyres. And see Fizrokas in the pits. So close to the end. So Roller's one stopping this race. Now, is MT96 on those mediums going to catch him? Has this one stop actually just been a big ask in terms of pace? I certainly think from where he started to one stop this race, well, it was actually a brilliant idea. But maybe the lack of pace is telling. As we see MT96 absolutely breezing through into 4th place. Now, the next man back up the road is Arminis. I can't see Arminis making up those 12, 13 seconds to make it on Rollins. And Rollins finishing 5th with a one stop. Pretty good strategy. Danius D in 7th place. He's got 7.9 seconds on Arminis. Arminis running the medium tyres. Danius D's not, at this stage, going to catch him up. Tomosis in Alpha 4C couldn't get the kind of pace out of the Alpha that we've seen on other racetracks. Do love the livery on that car though. Very, very awesome. 6.4 seconds. Also running those hard tyres. Now, Fizrokas is on the softs. He has had what you might describe as an absolute fucking shit of a day. He's an absolute nightmare. He was wrong strategy from the outset. Starting softs wasn't the big issue. Going softs for the second stint was. And then from there, he's losing the car. He's hitting the wall. Seriously, he's having such bad luck today. If he fell in a barrel full of boobs, he'd come out sucking his own thumb. That's how bad his luck has been today. Tennis behind him serving a penalty. Is he going to have to drop in the pits yet again? Does that bring Paz Kozas, who we saw spinning like a child's toy a few laps ago? Lap 19 was the Paz Kozas spin sugar show. And he will move up into 9th place past Fizrokas. That little wobble for Fizrokas costing him another place here. What about Aldriox? Aldriox too far back. So there we go. Fizrokas puts on some more soft tyres, repairs the damage on that car, and out he goes. Will he make it to the end without crashing? That's the question. But what I would suggest is do not buy a lottery ticket, because this week is not your week, my friend. 17 seconds, that difference to Paz Kozas. Paz Kozas is 11 seconds beyond Timosius, but looks like he's keeping the car in a straight line now, and the tyres are going to hold out. But it was very much like baby duck on an iced over lake on lap 19 for Paz Kozas. Going down the order, Aldriox in 11th place, 1 minute back. Blue flags out for him, so I'm not sure that'll be catching up. There we go. MT96 in 4th, catching up with him. Shady in a wall. He did have the fastest lap for some time. Timosius hits a wall, trying to get around Shady. I told you, it's absolute freaking carnage. You cannot. Having heavy damage is great and all, But on a track like this, or something really skinny like Tokyo, it's just an absolute killer. Because the only people on the racetrack who haven't taken any significant damage are Guy and Wendigo. And that is why Guy is 22.5 seconds clear. Wendigo, look at that gap. It's 7.5 seconds. Simonos is absolutely on it now in that NSX. Can he close that gap? 7.2 seconds is the gap. His last lap was a 1:36.2. Wendigo's last lap, a 1:38.9. There is 2 laps remaining. He's gonna Wendigo, for me, if he keeps this pace up, will make it to the end, but the gap will be a lot smaller. There we go. So, back of the pack. What do we got? Mr. J. He's kept the car relatively clean here. Not too many scrapes, actually. So, maybe hitting the wall might not be a bad idea all the time. Shady. We saw him absolutely melt it on that last lap. Etanas just in front of him has just been lapped by Timosius and Pazkozas. Audriox, there is in 11th place. So best of the rest, really. Best of the back of the pack lot. Fizrokas, unluckiest man on the racetrack. He has hit every single wall. Almost every single wall there is to hit. Got his strategy wrong and had some crashes. It's cost him a lot of time. Back in 10th place. Timosius in the 4C. Also took some damage. Trying to avoid another accident. So there we go. Bit of damage for him as well. He's in 9th. Don't think he's going to close the gap on Pazkozas. Pazkozas, who was like Bambi on ice on lap 19 in that McLaren. 20 seconds back from Danius D. We'll have to look at his mirrors, but should be okay. Danius D there, 6 seconds off the back of Rollis. He's on the hard tyres. A lot of work to do if he wants to beat him at this stage. Lap 26 of 27 laps here. There's Rollis, one stop this race. And Arminis has managed to get around him, which just goes to show how little pace towards the end of this race these hard tyres have got. But should, and I say should, but there's 1 lap remaining. Danius D would have to put in the lap of his life to beat Rollis here. But Rollis finishing 6th after 1 stop in this race. Good solid strategy. Maybe it might have been worth. I called it as the greatest strategy ever. It's probably not the greatest strategy ever. I think it might have been worthwhile to run hard, soft. Or hard, medium, soft even. So Arminis gets himself up into the top 5 in that GR Supra. He's 17 seconds back from MT96 in the AMG. Good pace from the AMG. Not going to close down the 8 seconds to the fastest man out there, the rocket in the NSX, Simonas, who at one stage didn't look like he was getting anywhere near the top 3 after being the first man in the pits at the end of lap 1. But here he is, chasing down Wendigo on this final lap. And absolutely, what a massive chunk he's taken out. Wendigo with a 140.8. Simonas did a 137.5. The gap is down to 7/10 of a second. Now, there was me saying Wendigo just had to keep it clean and not worry about being fast. But he's got to be fast because Simonas is crazy fast. Wendigo through. Simonas just pushes too hard. He clips the wall. His charge after Wendigo is over. He will not take second. But he will. Or will he take third? MT96 closing that gap. He's got engine damage. Is MT96 going to snatch third from Simonas as Simonas tries to take second place from Wendigo? So here goes Wendigo. He is going to cross the line and come second in this race here at Dragon Trail. Simonas, MT96, Simonas just takes third place, but my God, MT96 was very, very close. That was squeaky bum time for Simonas. If he didn't let out a little bit of poo, I'd be very, very surprised, because he clipped that wall and smashed the shit out of that engine, and It was just saw MT96 coming at a rate. Arminis home in 5th place. There is Rollis home in 6th after one stopping. Danish D in 7th. Did close that gap to 1.4 seconds. That was pretty damn close at the end there. But Rollis holds on for 6th place. Paz Kozas, Bambi on ice as he will be known today. We're going to do a lovely little highlight reel of Paz Kozas on lap 19 here at Dragon Trail. Sliding around and dancey. Comes home in 8th place. Etanas finishes in 12th. Last man to finish on the racetrack is the unluckiest man out there today, Fizrukas. There he goes. Comes home in 9th. So there we go. There is your final order, my friends. Guy from Wendigo, from Simonis, MT96. Arminis from Rollers. Danius D. Paz Kozas, Fizrukas, Tamosius, Audriox, Etanas, Mr. J, and Shady at the very, very rear. So, what did I say about Mr. J? You hang in there, you keep it clean, and you can nick a place. And he did. He, at the very last, it looks like he nicked the position off of Shady. Just goes to show how much damage is a great leveler. What a race that was. And I tell you what, Guy, master stroking strategy, got himself in there ahead, and it never looked in doubt after that. Another great race from Wendigo. He's going to extend that lead at the top of the leaderboard with another podium there. Simonas, great recovery. Had to pit at the end of that one. Great recovery to get himself back into the race and to finish in the top 3. MT96, so very nearly. Gets in the top 3 there with Simonas. Went for it against Wendigo just to try and close that gap. But it just goes to show sometimes it's better to take the position you got than try and nick one that you haven't. Arminis comes home great, solid 5th place for Arminis. Rollins with the one stop finishes in 6th place. What a race that was. And I'll tell you what, if these races keep getting better and better and better as they have been, race after race after race, we are in for an absolute doozy of a tournament. But congratulations there to Guy. In fact, well done to everybody. Great race from everyone. And everyone had their moments. Everyone had some great times. Everyone also had some absolutely awful times. But what can we say? There we go. We are at the end of yet another awesome race here on Black Flag Racing TV. So, where are we next time out, I hear you ask? Good bloody question. I will have a look right now and I'll tell you. So, next week. So, we've done Barcelona, we've done Spa, we've just finished at Dragon Trail Seaside. Next week, we are at the Fuji International Speedway for 31 laps of Japanese madness. So I will see you at this same time next week for some of this crazy racing. But all that's left for me to say is I've been Open Pirates. This has been Black Flag Racing TV, and it's been emotional. Thanks for joining.